Hey guys, welcome back. If you've watched any of my foundation road tests, you know that I love Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer. I use this pretty much every day with my foundation, and I am on my second bottle and it's almost out. So in my last foundation road test, it was testing a Guerlain foundation, and I took that opportunity to get samples of their two primers to test them out and see if I actually like them compared to my current primer, because if I'm gonna have to replace a primer, I want to know if I should get the same one or if I may want to switch. So I got samples of the Meteorites Base Perfecting Pearls and the Loreal, what is it called? Loreal Pure Radiance Primer. So I only have these little tiny sample containers, but over the past couple of weeks, I have been testing these out in various ways. I have tested them out under Estee Lauder Double Wear Light, under NARS Sheer Glow, and under Urban Decay One and Done. I wanted to try different types of foundations to see if it made any kind of a difference and see if one worked better than another. I'll touch on the Hourglass first and then move on to the Guerlain primers. They have a small size, which is 0.33 ounces, that you can get for $19. And that's what I actually started with. And I still keep that size for travel and just refill it from this when it runs low. And this 1 ounce size is $54. And they have a 2 ounce jumbo size that comes in a tube, and it's $75. So the Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer claims to be water resistant. It neutralizes skin and creates a smooth, uniform canvas for flawless makeup application. It keeps makeup looking fresh and prevents fading. It absorbs excess oils and minimizes the appearance of pores by evenly distributing light to help hide and soften the looks of imperfections and fine lines. It has no fragrance and no oil, and there's an SPF of 15. So what I find with this primer is that it does feel soft and silky when you apply it on the skin, but it doesn't have that weird silicone feel when you apply it to the skin. And it genuinely does help foundations last longer and help me not get as oily as quickly as I normally would. So just for that reason alone, you know, it's great for me. I like that it feels weightless on my skin. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a pore filling primer the way some are. It doesn't do that. It just does what it says. It creates a canvas for a flawless makeup application. I put this on with the 3 foundations that I mentioned before. I tested it out just like I did all the other ones because I wanted it to be fair. I've done it with the Estee Lauder Double Wear Light in that review anyway, so you know I like that combination. It works very well with that. It works very well with the Urban Decay One and Done as well, as far as just making it last and look fresh and look really good during the day. I started having issues with my NARS Sheer Glow a little while back and stuck it in a drawer. So that is one of the reasons why I wanted to pull it back out and test it with these primers today. For some reason, this primer does not do well with my NARS Sheer Glow, and I don't know exactly why. It just gets really oily during the day, and it breaks up on me right between my brows and right in here. I don't know why that is, and it does that whether I wear it alone or with this primer. And it's done that with a few other primers that I've tried too. And it does come out into a white fluid, and you can see, so it's just not runny at all. And that's about the amount that I use too. Just a small pump is all you need for your whole face. I don't notice any scent. I really never have. I don't notice it gives me any kind of a glow or any kind of a special oomph to my skin, but it works well for me. Now moving on to the Guerlain Meteorites Base Perfecting Pearls. Now this is the primer with the pink pearls in it that mix in with the clear fluid as you pump it out. I only have the sample container of it, but I will put some on my hand. I tried to save a teeny tiny little amount so that I could put some on my hand for you guys. It is 74 ounces for 1 ounce of product. So for the same amount that you get here, for $54, you would pay $74 for both of the Guerlain primers, which I know a lot of y'all are gonna say, oh my God, that's completely ridiculous. But I kept thinking there's a reason why people really like these primers, so that's why I wanted to try it out. The 2 ounce tube of this is basically the same price as the 1 ounce of the Guerlain. Guerlain claims that this primer has color correcting and radiance boosting particles in it, and that it contains a special polymer that helps fade imperfections and smooth fine lines. It's infused with a delicate violet scent and absorbent powders that neutralize excess sebum for a long-lasting matte complexion. So the texture of it is kind of this watery gel, and it sunk into the skin really nicely and felt weightless on my skin. I didn't find it particularly color correcting, but it did seem to have just a blurring effect to it that I appreciated. If I looked super close, I did see some luminosity, but it didn't have shimmer, which I like. I don't like shimmer in my products. I actually tried this primer out for 4 days instead of the 3, because the first day was with the Lingerie Depot foundation from Guerlain, which you would think it would work really, really well and perfectly with, and it just did not. It didn't work well at all, and that is in that last foundation road test. But when I tried it with the other 3 foundations, it just looked so beautiful, and it looked beautiful all day long. I wouldn't say that radiance stayed once you put the foundation on, but the way it made my makeup look and last throughout the day, it really worked. And I was thinking this wouldn't work for oily skin in my T-zone, and it did. So I was very impressed with this primer, you guys. It did help my makeup stay on and look fresh, and when I got oily, I didn't look greasy. A lot of times scented products, especially luxury, I don't know what that noise was, especially luxury brands have these really floral scents infused into them. And while there was a scent, it was that nice violet Guerlain scent that they have in their Meteorites powder, and it was really nice and light, and once it was on the skin, it was gone. I didn't notice it anymore. Okay, so what I have left is here in this small container. I tried to save just a tiny, tiny bit so that I could put it on the back of my hand for you guys, because I used every last bit. He gave me exactly 4 days worth, and it's hard. Okay, so I have nothing to swatch for y'all on my hand. Oh, I hate that. You see that in there? Okay, there it is. That's great. Okay, well, my intentions were good. It's a light pink color that had some shimmer and glow to it, but didn't look shimmery on the skin. God, I hate that that didn't swatch for y'all. I was gonna have it right here. Just pretend. Okay, so moving on to the Guerlain L'Or Pure Radiance Primer. This is that fancy gold primer, and I think this is still liquidy because I can see the liquid in there. This is a 24 karat gold infused cooling gel that sinks into the skin and retains moisture. It smooths fine lines and tightens facial features and provides an even finish under makeup. So the texture of this is kind of a watery gel, as opposed to, I don't know, the Meteorites was a watery gel, but it was a little bit thicker of a watery gel. Instead of really just kind of absorbing into the skin, it felt kind of tacky after I applied it. So I don't even know if you can see that. And there's some gold flecks in there. So very different primers, and I really, really wish I had that Meteorites primer next to it so you could see it. I didn't notice any tightening or firming with it whatsoever. I know some other people have, but I did not. I stared at myself for a long time trying to see if I saw any tightening or firming. I didn't notice any. It doesn't mean it won't happen for you. What I did notice was that my makeup applied very smoothly, not as smoothly as with the Meteorites, I guess because of the tackiness of it, but my makeup looked beautiful when I was done, and it looked just as flawless as with the Meteorites. Okay, there's yard work going on outside. I'm just gonna raise my voice and hope you guys can hear me. This primer worked really beautifully with all three foundations. The only foundation that I had a little bit of an issue with was the Estee Lauder Double Wear Light Day, and it just looked a little more makeup-y than I personally prefer. You may not have a problem with it, it's just personal preference. On all days, I only had to touch up a couple of times, and that was because I was just shinier than I wanted to be. I never really looked full out greasy, which was kind of a surprise to me, especially considering how tacky it felt on my skin. I was just expecting to look like a grease ball, and I didn't. So that was a nice surprise. However, this gave me bumps by the end of the day, every day. And for that reason, this has to be eliminated for me. It was not quite as versatile either as the Meteorites primer. I did like it though. I thought it was nicer than I thought it was gonna be. But yeah, I mean, I would have bumps by the end of the day, and then I would wash my face, wake up in the morning, my skin would look beautiful again. I would wear it again at the end of the day, bumps again. So I can't deal with that. Okay, there's like a pack of dogs barking outside. I don't know what's going on here today. I have one more primer that I'm going to throw into the mix that I hadn't planned on looking at yet. And I got this a little while back and I haven't used it a ton. I just decided to try this out too in the midst of everything, and that is the Becca Backlight Priming Filter. So the Becca Backlight Priming Filter is $38 for 1 ounce of product. So it's the least expensive out of all of these. It is infused with 3 unique filtering luminescent pearls. Each one adds a different drop of diffused light. Blended together, they impart a lightweight, whipped fluid that creates a smooth canvas and acts as an instant filter, while the vitamin E enriched formula minimizes the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. It's suitable for all skin types, including oily and combination. It's a good primer, and it has obvious shimmer. I apologize, there's yard work going on outside. Just gonna try to work around it. So here is what that looks like in comparison to the other two. And actually the Meteorites Pearls kind of has the same luminosity to it, but not quite as dense. When you actually spread this out on the skin, I don't know if you can see that. I hope you can. But when you actually do that, you can kind of see that luminescence. With the 2 Guerlain primers, you don't see what's going on in the bottle, the gold flecks and the pink pearly shimmer things. You don't see that obvious stuff on your skin. Once you put it on the skin, it just kind of blends in and disappears. With this, when you put it on, that pearly finish, you still kind of see it on the skin. It's not shimmery, it's a pearlescence, but it's nice. It's kind of a glowy finish. I have tried this with all 3 of the foundations that I mentioned in the beginning. I have also worn this with Estee Lauder Double Wear, the regular Estee Lauder Double Wear, and it works really well as far as keeping my foundation looking fresh and keeping my makeup on the skin for a long time. That longevity is obviously important to all of us because we're all wearing primers for a reason. So I was kind of surprised by this because as someone with oily combination skin and aging skin, you do want something that blurs, you want a little bit of radiance, but a lot of those primers tend to make your makeup slide off your face. And I was expecting that from this, and it doesn't make your makeup slide off. It doesn't make me shiny very quickly. It doesn't keep me as shine free as long as my Hourglass, but it does keep my makeup looking fresh all day long. So I do keep this in my arsenal. I just don't wear this as much as the Hourglass. So, and look at the bottles. They're almost the same. So there you go. That's my quick thoughts on the Becca. But as far as primers go, vastly different primers that all perform really well in different ways. The Hourglass has worked really well for me for a couple of years now. but I really think that I may go get that Meteorites primer as a replacement. I was really impressed with how it worked as far as just making my foundation look flawless, and it looked so beautiful all day long. And I think my tipping point was that it made me like my NARS Sheer Glow foundation again, because I really used to like that foundation and I don't know what happened, but I stopped liking it. It started breaking up on me a little bit, and I don't know. I think it just seemed to me like it really works with pretty much anything. A lightweight, a heavier foundation, as well as just kind of a middle range and different finishes too. So for me, I really liked the Meteorites primer, but they all have their benefits. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for visiting my channel today. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you next time. Thank you.